Hey there, it's Joe Gill with My Phoenix Real Estate in Keller Williams, Arizona. Going to do a market update for it's early September. Today is the 7th. I've got my presentation from the 5th just a couple days ago that we gave to our office, but we're going to go ahead and use that one just because it's pretty up to date. So let's get started. All righty, here we go. So we'll start with active listings. Active listings, that's your supply. That's the TP that's on the shelf at Costco. It's a product that's there waiting for the buyer to go buy, right? Ready for the consumer to grab. Our active listings were at 10,591 on 9/3, right? September 3rd, we hit 10,500. Just the month before, we were at 10,000. So we're climbing. So if you can see down here, we had a sort of a stabilization, from June and July. We're going, oh, okay, well, it's flattening out. It's going to happen. Let's see. Well, now we've got another 5 or 6 weeks that it's starting to creep up. So now this is an indicator that this was the inventory burn off that was happening because we had a strong spring season. We had some pent up demand because the end of last year was so slow, and now we're seeing that sort of take a step back, right? What contributes to your active listings? It's going to be people putting their homes on the market, right? So this shows us the past 3 years of people putting their homes on the market and what that looks like in what kind of numbers. So 21 and 22, we had 8,600 in January, 7,500 this year. Last couple of years, we had 8,800, 8,700. This year, we had 7,300. So as you can see, we are starting to decline as each month went by, and the number of new listings that went on. Right, this is new homes that you can go out there and buy. This is when you go through your search apps. This is the homes that are available for you to look at that don't say active or under contract or pending. Um, in July, it looks like we finally bottomed out at 6,400, and then we kicked up to 6,800 in August. So could this mean that people are going to start loading up more? I don't know. Well, I'll talk to you in a month about that. So we're watching this number closely. Um, this is a historical rate that we're listing homes, right? These are all the years back to 2001 and the number of new listings that made it to market. And this is us, 57,800. We're not doing great. We're probably going to end up, I would say, right around 90,000 for the year. I'll come back and see how right I am in a couple months. This trajectory has sort of stabilized pricing because we have abnormally low demand, low number of people buying homes, but with that, we have abnormally low supply. So we only have 57. You can see how far off we're getting from our other averages throughout these years. Let's break apart a couple of these. 2006, um, we had too many listings. Everyone knows what happened in 2007 and 2008. Too many homes to sell, not enough buyers out there, prices tanked, full on catastrophe. 2015, this is when I bought my first home. So it was fairly balanced at that point. We started to get some, higher demand, was sort of buying off some of that inventory. So that's, since then prices have been increasing. And then here we are in 2023, we're at 57.8. It is gonna end up a short year. And then who knows what the next couple of years are going to look like. But as of now, the size of our metro, it's a really low number of listings. Next point that we like to look at is how many under contract. Under contract is your demand. That's the people putting toilet paper rolls in their cart, but they're still inside the store, right? They're putting it under contract, but they haven't closed, they haven't moved in. They have just shown, hey, I want this house, I'm going to buy it. Now we're under contract. That pulls it off the shelf. So we no longer have active inventory sitting on the shelf that you can go grab. It's in someone else's cart. You would have to fight them and, find one person that would be willing to let you have the toilet paper in their cart, and that would be weird. It's pretty uncommon to do that. So once it's under contract, consider it gone. It's off the market. Under contract has been dropping since about, I would say, end of April. Then it's been trailing down. We have this seasonal dip, which happens every year. Then we normally have this seasonal increase. We missed it. We came short these few weeks. Didn't really get that one. We got a little spike, but now it's dropping down to this seasonal drop again. Now the question is, do we ride below yesterday or last year's line, or do we break through that and we have a higher demand than we did at the end of last year? We will find out. Um, the relationship between those two is the most important. This is kind of what dictates your pricing movement. So contract ratio, it's a relationship between supply and demand, right? That's all it is. Take your under contract, divide it by your active incoming soon, look at that number. What is that number doing? What is that number telling us? Here's the full year starting in January of this year. We climbed out of a warm market. In comparison, the market felt scary. It was really, a lot of people were canceling their listings, seemed like there were not many buyers. That whole scenario started to improve for sellers and stayed pretty steady all the way up until May. In May, we started to dip down a little bit. May is when we dropped to demand enough to where we started to increase we were eating our supply a little bit less quickly. Now, in comparison to what we've got on the market, we have sort of fluttered down. Now we're at 63. 63 is still not bad. We're still in, a hot market. I think anything over 50 is considered a hot market. Um, so we'll keep an eye on that number too. So if all of a sudden everyone decides to dump all their inventory on the market and we go from 10,000 active units to 15 or to 20,000, that number will shrink. It'll go below, it'll probably go to the 30s or the 20s. And we'll be looking for some pain for sellers. If all of a sudden no more sellers put their homes on the market, but we still have people buying, that number will raise up. That will increase competition for buyers. That increases price. So, quick look at closed sales, because just because it went under contract, not everyone's going to buy everything in their Costco cart. Some people take stuff off and they stack it on the granola bars, right before you go through the checkout. And they don't actually walk out with it. Then they can either repack it, put it back on the shelf, or somebody else sees it and they're like, oh, cool, I'll take that. Shoppers closed sales are the shoppers left Costco with the TV they just bought. They showed the gal the receipt on the way out. Now they're about to load it into their car. It belongs to them. Closed sales, January, February, March, we had an increase. And then April is kind of where we peaked in our under contract. Then everything, a lot of houses have a 30-day close, a 35-day close. Then lo and behold, we peaked in May with our closed sales right at 7,600. And then we've been sort of, going down. We went back up in August, had a little spike. July, everybody was just trying to enjoy the holidays, and it was super hot, super not fun. So these are our closed sales, and this is, representation of what actually completes, what does transfer. So where are we headed? This is our crystal ball session, right? What's going to happen? Cromford report creates a Cromford market index, and Tina Tambor made a pretty cool guide for what their index is predicting, right? So down here, 100, you're in a balanced market, ish. Last year, 2022, we saw a peak in the Cromford index. About 6 weeks later, we saw a peak in the number of homes going under contract. Then 6 weeks after that, we saw a peak in the price, right? So this was predicting that the tides were turning. Buyers were less likely to go out there and buy. Our inventory was going up. It takes all these different components to describe the market health. And then we peaked in our pricing in May because the index already saw it was coming down. This is where flippers, remodelers, people that need to sell, get it under contract and get it sold, because now we are chasing a slinky down the stairs. And this is what people did all the way until September, October. I remember I had a listing in September. Told the clients, they're moving to Oregon. We said we're going to do our best to price this aggressively, find a person that's willing to put it under contract, hope it closes. It closed, they moved. From there, it got even tougher. So then once we got below this 100 line, October, November, December, it was tough. Had some listings languish through those 3 months, and really finally start to pick up once we hit the other side of the graph here in January, February of this year. Since then, we've improved. See how buyers are like, okay, this is good. We started to eat off some inventory. Some listings canceled and reduced the number of inventory online. We really had a lower number of new listings to the market. Now we've sort of plateaued up here in the 160s. Today, what are we at? We are at 156.3. So if you look at this line, you can see that we have seen the top for now, right? And it's starting to retreat. Does it stabilize and stay pretty healthy and everyone's happy and we can enjoy some continuity? Or does this dip all the way down, um, to a lower number? If it does, if it dips lower, seller's going to have a hard time selling their house, or the landscape is going to be changing. They're going to need to price it aggressively. They're going to need to give concessions. Buyers are going to have a little bit more opportunity to negotiate with sellers, right? You're going to have an easier time getting in. You might be the only one that's willing to offer a contract. Problem is, okay, well, sellers, you're happy when it's going up, and you're a little bit sad when it starts going down. It's a little bit tougher, less predictable. In the grand scheme, if you look at that purple line, that's us. That's not too sharp of a change. I mean, it's significant. We need to watch it, but compared to these past few years, 2020, 21, 22, those were all weird years. I don't know what to tell you. You lived it. You know what I'm talking about. Quick recap: actives are up, so for sellers that's tough. Untracked's down for sellers, that's tough. New listings are up for sellers, that's tough. Contract ratios down, comfort market index is down. So things are just sort of going into our slower season anyway. But one of the biggest contributors is our mortgage rates, right? This is one of the main reasons why these numbers are starting to turn around the other way. Mortgage rates, all of a sudden we're at 7.33. That's painful when you were getting something at 6.8 or 6.5. You got pre-qualified at 6.5. You got pre-qualified way back here in 6.16 in the earlier part of the year and just didn't find anything that you wanted. Well, your payment went up significantly in that time frame. So now we're watching these numbers like a hawk, because buyers will turn much more quickly than sellers will, right? Buyer behavior, buyer activity. So if that drops down a point, boom, all of a sudden we have a ton of buyers coming back to market. Average sold to list price. This is sort of just an indicator of how well people are able to predict what the market is doing. So once prices started to fall, we didn't want to believe it. This is the average sold to list price. This is the average sold to original price. That original price, they had to start dropping their prices to get that thing under contract, all the way down to like 91%. And then that grew, and now we're closer to the 96 or so percent for sold to original, and then we're about 98% sold to list price. So it's been flat through August. This one's a fun one. Showings and offers. You're priced right. So the good thing about being in the seller's market is that you can predict where you are, you can get some feedback, and you know if you're priced right. Right. So if that 14-day window, if most homes are going under contract in 14 days, look at those 14 days. Did you get showings and offers? You're probably good. Next one, did you get showings but no offers? Okay, it might be price. No showings, no offers, you're probably out of market. When you do have showings and offers, you're probably within that 98%, right? So if homes are selling within, 98% of their list price, that's where you need to be. We don't know what that number is yet, but we do our best to predict it. We figure out what that is, so we go on strong, make it happen. It's showing no offers, you're probably more than 2% overpriced, right? People go see it, they go, no, not for me. They're not offering on your house, overpriced. If they're just not even bothering to show, if you put it on and you get just crickets, nobody's coming by, you're probably at least 4% or more overpriced, and you should really consider taking a look at those comps again. It's a tough market. It's always a tough market. Right now, it's unpredictable because we sort of are looking out at this landscape that has recently changed, and we're no longer on this upward trajectory. Now we're flat, so now it could go either way. But everyone's going through something. Be generous, live with gratitude, spread kindness. Just treat people right. Also, all real estate is local. I just showed you all the numbers of sort of the general metro. A small pocket of Chandler is going to behave way different than a small pocket over in Avondale, which is going to be different than Black Canyon City. So understanding your local real estate, what the behaviors are, what the buyers are doing, what sellers are doing, that's the way to figure out what you need to be doing and how to win. So till next time.